But what I find is that people are always distracted by the suffering in life and disappointed by the lack of fulfillment in life.
Mm-hmm.
They go back and forth being upset and distracted. And they don't consider the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is awakening. And the awakening is the freedom from all this identity of going back and forth with all this. Trying to make it work, trying to be disappointed it doesn't work. Going back and forth with all those emotions relating to it all the time. Instead of seeing the bigger picture that you're not really bound by it and it's not really true. It's just like Maya illusion.
Yeah.
That little seductress who says you can get happy here. So obviously as you're getting older, you've managed your survival and your obligations, and now you're looking for your happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking for it in that place, the place called experience. But enlightenment is something that has an impulse inside people. That's the real impulse. People think the real impulse is to be happy and to get happy through experience. But the real impulse is complete freedom to wake up from the identity of the personal self to the bigger picture of authentic or true self, which is limitless, and which personal self is limited. It's limited by how good your body feels, how long your body lasts, how mentally and emotionally you're able to persist here and persist in overcoming what's very difficult here and enjoying being here. So I'm here to say that your love for enlightenment, I'm giving you 100% permission to love it, because nobody loves it here. I'm giving you 100% permission to love it, to let it take you to freedom, your love for it. So when you love someone or something, you'll go anywhere and do anything to do that thing or to love that person. Well, that's the journey of enlightenment too. You have to follow it. You have to be devoted to it. But if you're clear, that's what you love and not the nature of trying to pursue experience and trying to make it work out. So, to me, when people get older, it would seem inevitable that they would come to the conclusion, I've lived this life, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of minor little pleasures and enjoyments, few satisfactions, a lot of suffering. And even in a normal life, where your next meal is coming, it's still full of that.
Yeah.
Why no one comes to, well, what's the bigger picture beyond this limitation that is always presented in experience? What is that my heart is really yearning for? What is really true? Because this isn't true. You would think it would be just an automatic thing of being older. You would come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
And it's very surprising to me that as people age, they don't come to that conclusion because they built a lifetime of distraction from seeing the conclusion and really understanding what their impulse is really about. So they built a lifetime of patterning that says, let's not really look that this isn't it and doesn't work out. Let's just keep being distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep being distracted. Let's keep being distracted. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of why you see that as people age, they're kind of they have the arrogance of experience without the success of happiness, without really being true. So you see that combination, which is kind of frustrating. So if you're really clear about it, that's what you have to hold your heart to every day. And then whatever's required for that, whatever instruction your guru gives you, I give you, whatever impulse you have, that's your path. You have to follow through with it. Instead of putting that to the side and trying to make experience work out. It's not going to work out.
Yeah.
And there's no use crying over something that doesn't work out for every human being that ever existed and will ever exist. It's not personal.
Yeah.
Enlightenment's not personal either. It's the realization of true reality or impersonal reality. It's the destruction of the impersonal. So everything that you think is personal is destroyed in this process. So for you to become really big, to understand the nature of your limitlessness consciousness, you have to destroy this idea of your personal confinement as the body-mind. And yet, you're walking around in a body-mind. But you won't always be, that's for sure. And you don't know when that day's coming, So each day, you should always hold that in your heart. I'm here for enlightenment. I love enlightenment. And a day when you can't feel your love for it. That's why having a guru and someone, that's actually embodied as a guru, is that it's easier to love your enlightenment through the form of the guru, through the relationship with the guru. So when you have a struggle that day, you can say, you just think of me, you think of my love for you, you think of your love for me, your love for enlightenment, you think of, you feel the bigger picture, and that is sadhana, to always do that. And like I said, I give you 100% permission to be the bigger picture, to be consciousness itself, and not a body-mind and all the limitations it has. I give you 100% permission to love enlightenment, 100% permission to realize that as who you are, and to live that. And you begin by living it through your love. So your love brings you into that big, limitless space of happiness. And you begin to notice that no matter what experience is doing, you're kind of radiating that and living in that, and that stuff doesn't matter, and you're kind of happy anyways. How can this be? Some kind of crazy things going on. And you begin to live there more and more and more. So the beginning stage of still living in the pain and suffering of being identified as the personal self, trying to get happy in a world of experience that cannot fulfill you, is to stand up for your enlightenment, to know you love it, and to speak to it, speak to your love for it. And you're both you're athletic and creative and a healer, and you're a creative guy, and you can use what you love as part of your path to stay in that love, to recognize that love, to live in that love. And so we can talk about what kind of actions or what kind of things you can do to foster that, to be aware of it, to keep it alive, to keep it like, this is what I'm about, this is who I am, and what kind of tasks can you do in your life besides chasing after experience to try to get happy? What task can draw you into that love realization that you love enlightenment, and that your path in your life is with your guru to understand that and live that and enjoy that. See, sadhana is really enjoyable. It's not giving up all the stuff you want in the world, because you just see the world as what?
Distraction.
Yeah, so it's bad. Anybody who thinks this is good hasn't had their eyes open, or hasn't let their heart feel anything. So sadhana really is unique to each person, but it's universal and similar to everybody who's sincere. But how it's going to be expressed, that love of enlightenment, that love for it's shown and demonstrated and lived and transmitted with your guru, is that the task in your life makes sense to you about that love. So if you're creative, you could do imaging and creative work about that love for yourself in healing, and you also are creative too. You can show and demonstrate that. So you bring your life, in other words, to me. You keep bringing it to me because you're expressing your love, and you want me to receive it. And in that receiving of it, how I am transmitting it to you begins to become more evident to you, and it begins to become evident to you that it's big, and that it can undo any of the limitations of experience. So you don't have to go around being heartbroken in experience anymore. You can actually live in that transmission of that love. It's like a big kind of intense love affair that's really fun. So for me, sadhana was the funnest time of my life because I wasn't living in all these conditions. And the funny part, during sadhana, my life was very traumatic and difficult. in the earlier years. And I was living through a lot of difficult conditions and separations. But I was living in this love of enlightenment in relationship to my guru. And I was living really in that happy consciousness, that happy state of it. So it didn't matter what was going on, and in my own life. The personal aspect of how difficult my life was at times didn't really matter, because that understanding and wanting to stay in that love and be in that love and give to that love was what mattered. So love of enlightenment, taken in with the help and support and demonstration, transmission of the guru, is an easy life. You just give your life to that love affair, and the task you do to show and demonstrate that love is your sadhana. What's so hard about that? It's what you naturally want to do anyways. So it's not a series of doing difficult things that you give up to get this thing. It's not that at all. And that kind of form of it is kind of a naive, uninformed, and lacks love and lacks the actual impulse to loving enlightenment. So who wakes up? Those who want to wake up. Those who love awakening get to wake up. Yeah. Who gets to be an artist? Those who love art.
That's true. Yeah.
That's who gets it. So everybody else doesn't get it because their impulse towards it is not their primary impulse in life. So if you have an impulse to try to make this world work out for you and get some status and respect, and you're always conniving and thinking about it, then your love affair for enlightenment just kind of takes a shadowy, really bad. It's under the bed. You take it out sometimes, full of dust balls or whatever. It's in terrible shape, and you look at it and go, "Ooh, that's kind of bad." So it has to be very active in your love. Your love for it has to become very active.